Hi everybody, welcome back to Burning Rome Rants. I'm going to discuss a little bit and read you a bit of an article I saw done by the Washington Post. As most of you know, the huge attack and openly bigoted and hateful attack that occurred in Chicago that was live streamed on Facebook. Well, here's something I'm going to point out. Here's the article in question's title. Pro-Trump narratives converge in one awful attack streamed on Facebook. Okay, well, it is an awful attack. Here is the first portion. I'm going to read this a little bit to you. If you believe discrimination against white people is rampant, that Donald Trump supporters face persecution, that Chicago is a war zone and the media is dishonest, then your entire worldview is likely confirmed by one awful story. Okay. Despite the fact that we have inherent knowledge of Trump supporters being attacked and pushed out at rallies during the election, during the primary, and during the main elections and issues in Chicago and whatnot, and he's virtually trying to make himself and fit his narrative continually. Now, as we all recognize that these poor people committed a hate crime. No one can deny that, except for apparently a few people who just decided that it's just not right. It's either justified, and some people think that it is justified due to Trump's election, which is retarded. Overtly, though, we have to inherently realize that these people are just crazy. Here's some more. The message in conservative media is clear. Reverse discrimination, particularly against white Trump supporters, is a big problem that the liberals and the media refuse to acknowledge. Oh, and by the way, Chicago, the part inhabited by mostly black people, is a super dangerous place, just like Trump said. Well, it is dangerous. Factually. Statistically. Murders happen regularly there. There's a huge issue with drugs and crime that is just insane in Chicago. The fact that this person is just ignoring that in totality is just insane to me. I mean, like, Trump is just he's bad, and he's racist for pointing out, statistics and all that stuff, Okay, and like I said, he goes on then to ignore the overarching issue of the attack as a hate crime, kind of steps around it and ignores it. He does call the attack horrible. I will give the author credit on that, because I don't think anyone could say it isn't, that has any sort of a moral code. He then goes on to continue to make himself a victim. This perception is fast talking about a thing that he quoted because, journalists actually don't write their own things anymore. They just quote other people. This perception is fascinating, as it stands in stark contrast to data on almost any outcome that has been assessed. The researchers Samuel Summers and Michael Norton wrote on the Post Everything blog in July, from life expectancy to school discipline to mortgage rejection to police use of force, outcomes for white Americans to be in the aggregate better than outcomes for black Americans. True. That is fair and substantive thing to say. However, people need to realize this type of article is just straight up telling you to, ignore this thing. This is a once thing that doesn't happen, even though there's evidence of it continually happening. This poor kid who has severe autism. He's just a kid in my eyes. He was attacked just because of his race and who he might have or maybe not have voted for. It's disgusting. These people are disgusting. And the fact that there are people who are just ignoring this and pushing it out of the way because, it hurts my fifis, and that they just continue to ignore that this is an issue that people face. It's annoying that places like the Washington Post, who broke Watergate. These are the people that broke Watergate. Keep that in mind. They are spinning this narrative that, it doesn't matter. This is not important because, these people to face discrimination too. Well, yes, they do, but it's still bad. But that's beside the inherent point. It is disgusting to me that these fuckers have decided to ignore it and then just continue playing the victim, even when a victim is clear and defined. Anyway, guys, I'll talk to you next time.